are back at the Will Sims podcast, and today I have a returning guest, my buddy Taylor Gomolisky, also known as the Man in the Flames. Since we did our podcast last year, we've teamed up and taken on the East Coast together. You know, playing in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania,
West Virginia, Delaware, a few times.
Ocean City, Maryland. We've been around. We've been partying it up. So, Taylor, how you doing, buddy?
I'm still hurting a little bit from the show last night, but
yeah, you did was your actual birthday yesterday? Or
nah, that was last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always miss like I'm very dependent on Facebook to remind me, and I always miss all my friends' birthdays. So
yeah,
I apologize for not
okay.
wishing you a happy birthday.
I got a lot of messages on my birthday and then the day after my birthday, that were like, day of my birthday I was working, and then the day after I was off in the woods, so I didn't have connection. Because of all that, I was like, all right, so next weekend I have a show. We'll call that the party.
Nice.
Whatever.
Yeah, and so were you working at Axe's to start, or did you just start the party there?
I just started the party there. Oh, actually, yesterday I worked in Timonium in the morning, and then at 2 o'clock I was like, all right, fucking time to go, showtime, let's go. Yeah, so that was fun, and then
you moved over to Monument where you played a couple sets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what was it? 4 to 7? Yeah, 4 to 7. Yeah.
Nice.
Went really well. The crowd seemed to like it. Had a few, iffy moments there with my playing. I forgot how to play a lot of my songs, a lot of my originals.
Oh, that's the worst.
Because I was when I was practicing all the songs, I was like, okay, I know these ones. I wrote these ones. How could I not know them? And then I was like, well, you know what? Let me practice it anyways. And I'd be like, the piano's downstairs. I'm already up here with my guitar. I'll just practice it on guitar. I really just need to practice singing it. And so that's what I did. And then when we got to those songs, I'd put my hands on the piano being like, how do I play this?
Oh, man. Just blanking. It's almost like when you've sung a song a million times, but then you go to sing it, you're like, crap, what's the first line of the first verse?
Yeah.
That's all I need to get me through this.
And I could tell that, the band knew I was messing up, too. Nick, who was on the guitar for Make It, it's one of my songs that I might be releasing soon here, hopefully. He looks at me, he keeps looking at me like, I'm like, yeah.
What's going on here?
It's broken. The keyboard or my hands, I don't know. But it was fine.
Yeah. And then you guys hit up the place next door to that, which is
Mott
for the after party.
Yeah.
And how many shots did you do?
I think only 2 shots, but
Okay.
it was a brewery. I had quite a few beers. Sorry, that was my phone. Boop, 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 boop. Let me turn that
Someone
off.
from Mott being like, don't you talk dirty.
Don't talk
about us."
bad. Don't talk. No, I wouldn't. They were really super friendly. The food was delicious. It was moderately priced. They brought me the wrong thing the first time, which is not bad. It happens. They're a new restaurant. But what they brought me, I ordered a pork thing, and they brought me a cheeseburger, which sounds normal and I don't know, just kind of it's a cheeseburger. It looked and smelled like one of the best cheeseburgers I've ever seen. I was like,
nice.
I almost want to be like, yeah, that was mine. And other people got the same burger or whatever, and they were just like, this is so good. So I guess they got the basics down, and then they got the Korean food as well.
That sounds amazing.
It was delicious. It was so good.
Cool, man. Well, so one of the reasons we wanted to do this was to kind of recap the year that has been 2024. We started off, we did the podcast pretty early last year, or maybe it was even December.
Yeah, something like
Can't
that.
remember, but yeah, at the time I had told you I was gearing up to do a lot of traveling this year, you were like, I'm game. And so you were on the road with me for a lot of these.
I think your exact message said, "Hey, how busy do you want to be this year?" And I just answered, "Very. What do you
Yeah.
have in mind?"
Yeah. And even I was kind of taken by surprise by pretty much how well last year went, like just in terms of
Yeah.
getting gigs and being able to go and play and get paid and not have it all just come out of your pocket,
Yeah.
being able to pay some bills with it.
Yeah.
So if I remember correctly, I think the first one we actually did was the one in West Virginia, right?
Mountaineering.
Yeah, mountaineering. I'm looking at this video I made right now, the little recap video. I remember it was a barbecue place,
Yeah.
and that there was good barbecue.
Dang
Like
it,
it was
barbecue.
just high cholesterol, full blown.
Yeah. Everything just dripping and sopping. Just
Yes, and it was just full of flavor. I would say we were probably a little under rehearsed, but we basically,
the
we were
first
still
show,
kind of figuring it out,
Yeah. But
how
going
the
from
dynamic.
there to that second performance, I think that was a really good performance. We had the second performance at Conch Island. Conch Island. Don't sue me, guys. Conch Island. That was what a jump.
Yeah.
From starting at mountaineering, just kind of like, okay, a little shaky, but we're working out the kinks, to like Conch Island. We just freaking crushed it. Me and Ansh switched between drums and guitar for a
Yes,
song.
that was cool.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to Conch. I wanted to point out the one of the fun things we did at that first show is that someone wanted us to play Eye of the Tiger.
Oh yeah.
So we like busted that out like on the fly.
Yeah.
Like no real practice. We just played it on the fly, looked up the words, and I
Yeah.
think it went pretty well. Like I think
Yeah, I think it was like a kid's birthday or something like that.
It was something
And
like that,
And his
yeah.
dad was like, "This kid, he loves Eye of the Tiger," and we're like, "Got it."
yeah, and yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And then from there, I think we did Fifth Company after that.
Up in Perryville.
Yeah. And yeah, that was like, that was fun. Fifth Company is a really cool space. I feel like since I started playing there, they've really like grown a lot. Like their food's great. Like every time I go there, there's a ton of people there.
Yeah. But that whole establishment, it's almost like a campus. How big it is.
Yeah, I mean they've got like a bunch of field out back. They've got like a whole like event space that you can put on shows. I mean, we did a show in there once, like late, not December last year, but the year before. We did like the Alice in Chains versus Foo Fighters thing, and that was a lot of fun.
Nice. Do they do like bands in there? Or?
Yeah, yeah, they'll do like shows. I don't know how they work it out with like paying the bands or anything like that. I know that I'm going to be doing one there in April. They want me to do like a set of Alice in Chains and run sound. So
That'd be fun.
so, but yeah, like they're like since the first time I played there to now, like I feel like they've come such a long way.
Yeah.
All right, so from there, let me see. Trying to remember. Oh yeah, we did after that we did the Maryland Day Festival.
Yes. That got rained out the first time.
Yeah, well, so we played on the day that it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it was they were doing this thing, Maryland Day Festival. I don't know if they're doing it again this year. I know that they like typically they would have started asking people already.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, it's just a really big venture. I've seen, and I'm sure you have seen as well, being both of our jobs are. There are so many outdoor festivals around this area that just get canceled because day of, it's like, oh, you know what? We're gonna just rain buckets because we're
Yeah.
in the Mid-Atlantic. That happens,
Well, it kind of happened so last year was the second year they did it, and then the
Yeah.
first year they did it, they didn't postpone it, but it did rain the day of, and that kind of like I think deterred a lot of people from coming
Yeah.
out, which is a shame because
That helped.
there's
That helped our situation. I played in Lucky's with Tionesta and Brothers Clair, and during the Brothers Clair set, that's when it started raining. So everybody left the main stage and came into Lucky's, and we were like, "Oh, this is great! We have a packed house for this. Like, this is awesome." That was a fun show.
Yeah.
Sucked that rained, but
And we had a pretty solid band for that too. Adam on drums, Tony Corelli came out and played.
Yeah.
That was one of the. I think you were saying it was like the first time you actually got to play a set with Tony.
yeah, actually, yeah,
Because usually you're both at the same gigs playing keys.
yeah, but just for different artists. Yeah.
So that was your first time getting to share the stage with him, and then we had Mike on guitar, Chris on bass, and then you were on guitar. Mm-hmm. You were resigned to strictly guitar duties that day.
Tay on the strings.
Yeah. And then I think the day after that we played Pariah Brewing.
Yeah.
Which sadly I think that was the last.
Rest in peace.
That was the last show we did there because they shut down shortly after that.
Yeah. I was trying to hook something up with them, with my stuff as well, but it was like they were like, "Yeah, we'll be in touch," and then like the next day it was like, "We're closing," and I was like, "Oh, they won't be in touch."
Which is like so disheartening because
I know.
they were really cool about having a band play.
Yeah.
I did a couple sets there with the full band, but it was kind of one of those things where, like inside when it's cold, like it's too much for a band, and then in the summer it's like, it can be too hot outside or. But that was kind of the hope. We were kind of hoping that once it kind of got warmer, we could do like kind of more outdoor stuff. But
Yeah.
sadly, that didn't pan out. But they were a cool spot. They had some great drinks and they really really cool place.
Yeah.
All right, and then that brings us into our first run through North Carolina,
Woo.
which was
One of 4, I think.
something like that. I think that's right. So our first run, we did basically 3 stops in North Carolina. We did Charlotte, Wilmington, and Raleigh.
Yeah.
So we did Charlotte, and then we did Raleigh, and then we did Wilmington. Friday, I think it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. We also shot a music video over the weekend, which was for the new EP that I released last year.
Yeah.
And how was your you've been on the road before? How was that whole experience for you?
The going on road with you was definitely better than my previous experience, considering I didn't get in a fight with the bassist. There was no bassist.
Well, most of the time we didn't have a bassist, so there wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't bring me on road with a bassist. It'll be dangerous. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I think was that when we went to the beach, when we went to Wilmington, or was that at Moorhead?
We went back to Wilmington. I'm trying to remember. We played in Raleigh, and then I think we drove through the night, and then we stay at.
We stayed, I think, at a hotel in Wilmington. We stayed at a sleep in.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think we stayed at the hotel, and then we drove to the beach in the morning.
Yeah.
And then from there, we went back to Wilmington, and did the show.
Yeah.
I believe that's how it went down.
Cool.
If I had the video here, I would remember. But
I know the first time in Wilmington was when we went to we played at the bar, right? That had the volleyball, the beach volleyball in the back.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had like a big outdoor area. They wanted us to play outside.
Yeah.
But then they were having power issues, so we were able to talk them into let us playing inside.
Yeah.
But only if we played quietly, and they were allowed to have like the game on or whatever.
Yeah.
Which it was like, all right, cool, sure. Like I guess we're here. Might as well just try to make everybody happy.
Didn't come all the way to North Carolina just to not play,
Yeah. I guess they'd had some bad experiences with bands just being way too loud. It's like, yeah, but there's no drummer. It's just us.
Yeah.
It's acoustic guitar and piano. We're not going to get crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we did that, and then we drove back that night. 5 or 6 hours, something
Yeah.
like that.
Those drives did feel very long on the way home.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it always feels.
It's always exciting getting down there. We were just like chatting and
Yeah.
like excited, and then in the end we're just all like, ugh,
Just feel
like,
war
tired,
torn.
like so yeah. Now now during that trip we didn't stop at Buc-ee's, right? That was the next time.
No, we didn't go that far south yet.
It was the next time when we went back to. It wasn't exactly Wilmington, but it was close to Wilmington, and that's when we stayed with one of your family members down there.
Yeah.
You had
Family friends. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful house on the lake or
Yeah.
the river.
Yeah. Just some marshland. It was a great thing to wake up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere I have a time lapse of the sunset or the sunrise.
Yeah.
Which I'll use at some point
Yeah.
in something, but
And it was a very nice reprieve from like sleeping in the car because that was our second stop. I can't remember where our first stop was.
I think we played it in Frederick at that 10th Ward place.
Yes, and then we
we
drove from there.
Yeah, and then we drove down there, and then from there we went to Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And that was when we stopped at Buc-ee's, and that was the first time we got to experience the Buc-ee's lifestyle and culture, which we are now both
I still don't know how to explain it.
grossly involved with.
Yep.
Yeah, we
We also stopped on that trip at was that south of the border? That one?
yes, wasn't that the one with like the lizard park?
Yeah. It had the lizard park and the reptile center and like it had like the whole alligator exhibit. Where
Yeah,
it was
and
just like all those. I feel bad. It was all those sad alligators just like on concrete slabs, and it'd be like, "This is the African blah blah blah," and I'd be like, "Oh my god."
And then he was just sitting there with like his mouth open, like
Yeah, just like with
Just
dirty
like-
water and concrete, and be like, okay.
Poor alligators. Like
Yeah.
could at least like put Netflix on for them or something.
I know.
You know, they're just sitting there all sad and
Yeah.
you know, some of them are just in there by themselves,
Yeah.
and some of them are in there with like a bunch of other alligators,
Yeah.
which I'm sure like they're just loving that lifestyle. Yeah, and then we went to Georgia, which was that was a pretty fun experience. I think they had a pretty cool spot down there, Sol Augusta. Mm-hmm. It was like a 2-tier like indoor outdoor style place.
Yeah. The stage was kind of made to look like like you were playing in a shed.
Yeah,
You know,
it
that
had like
was
a
fun.
little bit of like a tiki bar / shed vibe, but it was cool. It was a cool little setup. The only thing that was weird about it was like at the end of the night when we were done, it like was turning into a nightclub.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
I
it went
remember
from
that.
like a nice, like Mexican restaurant to like a nightclub, and I remember like having to like hunt down like the manager to get paid so we could get out of there.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's just people inside. Like I remember we showed up and it was like nice. Everyone's sitting at tables, having dinner.
Yeah.
And then I go in there later. All the tables are gone. It's just a bunch of people like dancing on the floor.
Yeah.
And
Got strobe lights and all
Yeah.
the club stuff.
yeah, it was nuts. And I was like, we got paid. And I was like, all right, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And then we drove. And then that night we drove back. I think we slept at the Buc-ee's for like a bit.
Yep. I got a really good picture. One of the best pictures I've ever taken is of that Buc-ee's parking lot. It's just like, I think I woke up at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. The sun was just coming up over the horizon. And there was just like a thin mist. And I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
Well, you also rocking that Buc-ee's sticker on your car.
Yep. Got the Buc-ee sticker. Got the. Did you get a hat? No.
I can't remember. I know I got barbecue. I've gotten barbecue sauce every time I go there. I got some seasoning.
Their
and
brisket
also-
was really good.
Yeah. I've had the
Yeah.
brisket.
Yeah.
It was made even better when you would get the if you got like the barbecue sauce and put that on there, it just enhanced the experience.
Oh yeah. The beef jerky.
Oh yeah, I did get some beef jerky, but
Yeah.
sadly I didn't enjoy that as much as I should have.
Ah, okay.
I
I
feel
don't
like
eat beef jerky, but
I feel like I
know that
left
they-
it somewhere and my brother ate it or something, but
Ah, okay.
who knows?
Gotcha. We just gotta go back.
But yeah. So then I think I can't remember if we did Moorhead before or after that, but I know that like pretty close after that was like Purple Moose. We did Conch Island, Purple Moose, and then we went to Richmond, and then we went to.
Did we play in Virginia Beach? No, we did not.
I don't think we played in Virginia Beach. We
just
drove. We
through
drove
it.
through Myrtle Beach at one point.
Yeah, we stayed in Myrtle Beach
Yeah, we stayed there.
on our way to Charleston.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to pull up now. Let's see if I can get it on this computer.
you're good. Myrtle Beach, it seems like it was a very fun place. I
It
can
seems
imagine
like
it
everything
was
that
so touristy.
it seemed like everything that everyone accuses Ocean City of being, but like times 10. Whereas like Ocean City to me has always been like a pretty cool, fun place. Like, but I think some people see it as just white trash hell, you know. But
I feel like it's both. It is a cool, fun place to hang out, but there are definitely parts of it that are really dirty. And it doesn't help all the I don't know, crazy shops that they have. But it's fun. I enjoy it.
all right, so yeah, so we went back to. Oh yeah, between our two North Carolina runs, we played this place called the Shamrock Inn. You remember that?
Yeah, I was talking about that yesterday with someone. Yeah.
Which was like quite the experience. We were playing basically like a yard sale type show that our friend put together, and I was trying to use it as a chance for us to do like a soft rehearsal for Purple Moose, and we got together. We played a bunch of songs, and it went really well, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were basically at the end of this building that didn't look like it was set up for music at all. But we were in there playing, and my favorite thing about that place is they had something called the Slam Rock at the Shamrock, which I just thought was hilarious.
I can't even remember what that is.
I don't know. It was some kind of hardcore show they did in there, which just made it funnier to me. I was like, and it's it's technically in Baltimore, but it was right down the street from Parkville. So it was just in kind of like a gritty neighborhood, and when you're walking in, you're like, I better not cut my leg on this pipe or I'm done for,
Yeah.
that kind of vibe. But they were a lot of fun. They really liked us. But yeah, that was definitely one of the more interesting places we played.
Yeah.
I know we were looking at each other like, dude, do we just tour North Carolina? We're in this place,
Yeah.
what are we doing? But yeah, so yeah, then we did Brunswick Beer Exchange, and then Sol Augusta, and then we played at Sonama's in Columbia, which was a really cool place.
I had fun there.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was me, you, Adam, and Chris, and we did a lot of fun songs.
I remember Chris kept on being like, I will do the one Taylor Swift song, and that's it.
Yeah.
And there was really not many people there throughout the night, which was unfortunate because we really played a good set. But then towards the end of the night, that whole group of girls came in, and you kind of gave us a look we got to do more Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Adam, it was actually Adam that made the call. Who
Yeah.
Adam plays with Enslow, and they do a Taylor Swift show that they get paid to show up and play Taylor Swift songs for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And so he basically knows every Taylor Swift song worth knowing. And so I basically pulled together whatever Taylor Swift song I thought we could do, in addition to the one we already did. And then yeah, but that was that last half of that last set was so much fun because those chicks were hanging out and dancing with us, and kind of made the whole night feel worth it.
Yeah.
For the most part, we were just playing to a bar with 10 or 15 people, and after they clapped for a couple songs, they were done clapping. They were sitting there just watching the game, and we were just background music basically.
Yeah.
But it was a cool spot. I'd love to go back. From there, we did a show at Monument City Brewing, which was on was that Memorial Day in May?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was on Memorial Day weekend, and yeah, we
Brought my
played
dog.
one set, and then like the 8 people that were there left, and then they were like, "All right, we're closing up for the night."
Yeah.
You were supposed to do another set, but it was basically just like, we don't think anybody else is coming because it was a holiday weekend and everyone was getting ready to leave town. So
Yeah.
that was fun. I felt like we played really great that night. Like I felt
Yeah.
like we played our first set and we were like high five and like, yeah. And then like when we were done, everyone was like, "All right, cool, we're out of here,"
Yep.
and that was it.
Yeah.
But yeah. But you
It's
said
a
you
fun
played
show.
there last night and it was packed, so that's a good sign. I'm happy to see there.
Yeah, I mean, especially since they merged with Key Brewing, they're calling themselves Brewers Haven now. Like, it's still they're 2 separate breweries, and they're still just sharing the space. They're 2 different entities, but the like kind of complex they have there is Brewers Haven because it's on Haven Street. Get it?
Which also, I can't remember exactly when it was. It was probably not. It was probably around that time.
Was the
when-
bridge collapse?
Yeah, the key bridge collapse, and they did the key bridge benefit, which you played at with the Man in the Flames, and then I
You were
played.
running
I
sound.
was running sound, and that whole thing was like really cool how it was put together.
Yeah.
I did like a cool recap video of that, but I just remember it was like such a last minute thing. Like everyone was kind of like pulling together.
Yeah.
Like
It was pulled
whoever
together
they-
within like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Shout out to Molly and Nick, Old Eastern.
Yeah, yeah.
They put in some work for that, and it turned out really well.
Yeah, they put together some really great acts. Like even the ones that I was kind of like, I don't know how this is gonna go. Like they were still really good. Like they had one band that was like a cover band. They sounded really good. And then there was like one group. It was like a duo, guitar and drummer duo, and they were really good. Like they had some really interesting songs. But
Yeah.
I just remember your set. You were like, you had a guy. You were supposed to have your drummer come play, and then
Yeah, he was like, I'm getting off. I was like, we're on at whatever it was, 6 o'clock. And he was like, all right, I'm off work at 4. It's about an hour and 15-minute drive. I'm like, all right, sounds good. He gets off at 4:30, and then he calls me, and he's just like, hey, I'm not going to make it, I don't think. I'll get there by 7. It turned into a 2-hour drive. He's coming from D.C. And I was like, shit. All right, well, we can't move the time, so just forget about it. Sorry, I hung out with him. And then I just like looked around and I was like, does anyone play drums?
yeah.
Who can
And there was
play
a guy
drums?
there who, yeah, he had like supplied the drums,
Yeah.
but I don't think he was really playing with anybody.
No, he was just there as the back line. And he sat in with, I mean, he didn't know a single song that I played. I thought he did fine. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for considering the circumstance, he did okay, but
Yeah.
there was definitely an element of like just and who else did you have with you? Didn't you have someone playing?
That was
bass?
Brendan
Brendan, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
B. Clark.
yeah, there was a lot of drummers there, but everyone was just kind of like flying in to like do their set
Yeah.
and then leave, But yeah, I remember at one point it was like Nick had gotten all these like big local acts that said they would do it, and then they were like one by one like rescinded, and we're like, actually, we can't do it. And it's like, all right, well, I guess we'll just put together the mod squad of Baltimore, and it ended up being a great show. Like Shelby Blondell played,
Packed.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
They,
thousands of people.
yeah, shoulder room, like hardly any shoulder room.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, there's a cool like recap video I did on my podcast channel you can check out, which is, the least I could do, considering I was running sound. I kept like trying to like be like, Nick, you should let me play a set. Like, let me squeeze it. And he was just like, oh, man, like I was just like, all right, I get it. It was a lot of work that was put into that. I was honored just to be a part of it, but
Yeah.
like my heart is in playing. So I was like, I got Taylor here. We could fucking do a set, like,
Yeah.
But yeah, that ended up being a really cool event, and yeah, like probably one of the largest things I've gotten to be a part of. It's a shame that it had to be for such a tragic thing that happened.
Yeah.
All right, so we played Monument City Brewing, and then the next day we played the Broken Oar, which, for all
Fucking
intents
God.
and purposes,
Oh my God.
I felt like it was a great show.
I
thought
thought we crushed it.
I thought we had a great set, but then they were basically like, you guys aren't the right fit for us. And like we had like 4 gigs for the year. Actually, what was funny is that wasn't even one of the ones we had booked. They had a cancellation, and we jumped in the last second to like cover for it. And then something happened. Somebody didn't like us. Somebody complained, and they canceled all of our gigs.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right, like
Why
like-
Why did they book us for 4 shows without knowing what we sounded like?
Yeah, like,
And,
I the only thing I could think of was they were like, well, we want people that are going to be like playing Margaritaville and you know, the Beach Boys and stuff. And it's like, well, like if that's what you're doing, then say so. But I definitely sent them all my stuff ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like I can only imagine as we played like a song and somebody didn't like it and they were just like, this is not the right, you know, it's just like, what the F? Like I went inside to wait to get paid and like, they're in there listening to like Limp Bizkit and Korn and stuff. I'm like, what do you want from us? But whatever. I'm not mad at them. Like I appreciate that they gave us the opportunity, and you know maybe one day they'll come back and ask us to play again. But yeah, it was definitely a very perplexing and confusing scenario that we were in.
Well, it was a marina, so like, it was probably somebody who owns a slip. You know.
Yeah, they were like on their boat, and they were like, I was trying to listen to, you know, Steely Dan, and these guys are over here playing Alice in Chains. It's like,
I don't like the look of that fella. Get him off stage.
These long-haired guy. I don't know. I can't even like, you know, I don't even want to put any more brain power into it. You know, it's like we're doing fine. Like let's not complain about it. Yeah. All right. So then after that, we went and we did 10th Ward. We did. So we did 10th Ward, and then we did Floyd's, which was in Moorhead City.
Yes.
Which was a pretty cool little town.
It was a cool town, and I really liked Floyd's. It was like the outdoor patio. Strange enough, I didn't expect to like it because it was just like extra preppy. Everyone was wearing like
Everyone was dressed
like
real nice.
polos with popped collars and like salmon shorts and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be one of those kind of places. But like they loved it. We loved playing it.
Yeah, they were all like, when you come back, we'll tell everyone. And I was just like, all right, cool. And then I think we were supposed to go back, and I'm trying to remember how it went down, but I don't remember if that was one of the ones you needed to back out of for some reason, but I remember that like the day before I was going to go down there, they were like, yeah, there's a hurricane about to hit. And I was
That's
like,
probably why I backed out.
yeah. And so I was like, all right, well, let me call them and be like, what's the deal? So I called them and was like, you know, what's your contingency for if it's raining? Like, do you have a setup inside? And they were like, no. Like, we're glad you called because we would probably cancel. And I was like, all right, well, I just need to know by, you know, this time tomorrow, like I can call back. And they were like, nah, I think it's pretty safe that we can just call it right now. Like,
Yeah.
And so they were really cool about it. And, you know, I'm hoping we can go back again this year. I remember we were like, it was just like a cool little coastal town.
Yeah.
And like that was like a really cool spot that you could like sit outside and play and you know, it was just really relaxing atmosphere.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the places we played that had a little more personality. Mm-hmm. You know, the bowstrings were pretty cool when we first went to
What's the place?
North Carolina.
Yeah, Bowstrings was cool. What was the other place kind of on the way, though, to Bowstrings that we played? That we were, like, set up on the side of a highway?
Oh, Brunswick Beer Exchange.
Yeah.
Yes.
That place was crazy.
That was the one that was in, I guess that was another trip.
Yeah.
Because this is the one we did, Charleston Beer Works.
Yeah.
Which is the first time we went to South Carolina.
Yeah.
Played in Charleston, that was like a cool, like, you know, first time being in Charleston, but like the drive getting into there was like cool. It was just like going over like this bridge and you can just see all of Charleston. It was almost like something out of like Star Wars when they had like one of those shots and you can like see like the landscape. It was just like,
yeah.
I was like, we're going there.
The highway goes above the city. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Brunswick Beer Exchange was, I thought it was a very interesting place because it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? Unassuming. Like you wouldn't tell what was there, and then you go inside and it's just like
It was
a very
definitely
cool, like a very nice layout, and
yeah.
they had all these.
I'm pretty sure it was a bank because I think when you went into like the one room there was like a bank vault door.
Yes.
Yeah.
And hence the Brunswick Beer Exchange.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Which was pretty clever wordplay. I didn't even pick up on that until
Yeah.
just now.
They had like a bank vault door, and behind the vault there was like all their like higher end beers, and yeah, that was really fucking cool.
Don't you remember like we were setting up and there was this guy there, this older guy, and he was just like losing his shit. He was just like, I can't, I like this is unacceptable. Like he was just getting all mad. I think there was like some guy there.
Oh yeah, so him and then
He was like totally decked out in like the whole MAGA outfit, which
yeah, so him and then the other guy who had the like punk outfit and everything. They got in an argument.
I'm guessing it was over politics, but
Probably, because he kept on talking to me about politics, the punk guy, or more talking at me. It was
just
fun.
matter of facting you.
Yeah, and not gonna get into any of that stuff, but he, yeah. So I imagine
Yeah,
they probably.
I imagine he probably engaged, and that guy just was not having it, and it's like.
Yeah.
And again, I don't really deal with. I'm not really like I'm not big on arguing about politics. I'm happy to have discussions about it, but I'm sure that there was like a matter of
Probably some name calling and.
I was thinking of like a unstoppable force meets an immovable object type of argument. Like
Yeah.
like this,
Neither one of them is gonna change their
I'm
mind.
so right and you're so wrong, and the other guy's like, no, I'm so right and you're so wrong, and it's like.
Yeah.
Guys, like,
They're both.
can't we all
You're
just
really
chill
right.
out? But yeah, it was a shame that it went down like that, but yeah, what can you do?
Yeah.
All right, so that was one of our other runs through North Carolina. Oh, and then we did one of our first shows at Covalent Spirits.
Yep.
Which is like one of our favorite places to play.
Yeah.
Because they just make like the best mixed drinks ever. They got this pH one that's just like this purple drink, and it just makes me happy inside.
Yeah.
I get it made with gin, but yeah.
They gave me like a worm thing last time I was there, I think.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't remember what it was. It wasn't like a hot toddy or something. I don't know.
They had one called the Will, and I got that one a couple times.
Yes.
Which I think was like a kind of bourbony type of drink that he would like take like an orange slice and like melt honey on it and stuff. Like it's just like so extreme, but it's like awesome. Like you feel like you're
He's
like
a chemist,
real fancy. Yes, they're chemists.
They're chemists over there.
Drink artists.
Covalent spirits.
But yeah, like what we played there a few times now. Like any thoughts on it? We got the cheese tray there one time, which was awesome.
Their food was delicious. The packages that it comes in.
Well, all the food they have is just like it's like what kind of charcuterie board do you want?
Yeah.
Like that's basically their menu.
Yeah,
which is like amazing.
Yeah, they give it to you in the packages, and they're like, all right, here you go, set it up. Which is, it's fine. That's not what you're going for. You're going for the drinks for sure. But I really enjoyed the crowds both times that we played there. People seemed to really enjoy the music we were bringing. And that burly bearded bartender, I can't remember his name. I don't remember if I ever got his name. But he was a very friendly and like to the point kind of person, and I really appreciated that.
All right. So, after that, our next show was Conch Island.
Yes.
Which I
Conch.
said Conch, and like 3 people ran up to correct me. And
They straight up
I was just
yelled.
like, I'm
They're
so
like,
sorry.
Conch! And we're like, okay.
Conch.
It's Conch. Get it right.
I'm so sorry. I feel like that was it. That sealed the deal. They were like, these aren't the right people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was me, you, and Ansh, and yeah, we were doing a 3-piece thing. We kind of worked out what we were going to do, but You know, it involved me playing bass, you playing guitar, and we kind of switched it up between the three. It was one of those things where I was like trying to gauge like from the guy that was booking us like what do you want? Like, are you expecting like a rock band, or do you want people to dance? Like, do you want to keep it chill? And he was just kind of like, I don't know. And so you know, we tried to kind of start it off smooth and then got heavier as the night went on.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a slow night there that night. You know, we were kind of just, you know, going through the motions at a certain point. It was like, all right, well, got to play till 11 or whatever. So
Yep.
we fulfilled our obligation, but it wasn't like a crazy turnout or anything. But
Yeah. Now, the second time we went back, I think that was much better.
yeah, we had Chris that time.
Yeah.
And we all kind of like just, you know, stuck to our instruments, and like we just were a lot more solider. I think we picked a better set, you know, so
Yeah. The place was more crowded.
yeah, we had people actually like hanging out and dancing and having a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's like one of those things, like it's tough with a lot of venues sometimes. Like you go in and you're like what do you want? Like what are you expecting? Like, you know, but they don't really, I think a lot of times they don't really know what they want. They're like, it's just shot in the dark for them too.
Yeah. They're like, I don't know, we have a stage and we have a full sound setup, but now what?
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, you hope you'll connect with the crowd that's there, but you know, it's just as likely that you won't. And you know, I think a lot of bands probably struggle with that sometimes.
Yeah. And I mean, it could be like the venue is thinking, well, I don't know what I want because you're the artist. Do the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from there we went and we did our first Purple Moose gig of the year, which was just freaking awesome.
That was, I still laugh. I still laugh about that night, about what happened in the band house.
Oh my God, yeah. So we're playing, and it's me, you, Ansh, Dave, and Mike Bullmash, and yeah, you know, we rehearsed a couple times for it. You know, I would say we were okay for the most part. There was probably a few songs I felt like some people could have spent a little more time learning, but you know, that's just kind of how it is when you're trying to put a set together like that. To that extent, you know, with that little of time, and it was tough to get together to practice because I was playing like almost every weekend, so it was like tough to line up a practice with everybody that was available, including me.
Yeah.
So for the most part, I was pretty happy with how it went, but there was definitely like a few times where I was like, dude, you don't know that part? Like, it's a pretty important part. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm not talking about you in specific or anything.
You
I'm
can
just talking
I don't
about
care.
in general.
I get it.
Like,
I knew when I didn't know something.
yeah. I mean, like, and don't get me wrong. There's definitely times where I was like, shit, I should know this part, and like I didn't. You know, it happens to me all the time. But
Yeah.
just in general, for a show like that, the only reason, like, I'm generally not very critical about anyone in the band. Like, everyone makes mistakes, including me.
Yeah.
But like that was like a big show. That was like you don't want to screw up this opportunity because this could be a great relationship to have going forward. So
Yeah. And he invited us back, and it was still we crushed it the second time once
yeah,
again.
the second time we crushed it.
Yeah, but I still.
But yeah, so we get through the first 3 sets, 3 of 4 sets, and I felt like we were like, all right, like it's going good. The owners said that they like it. The sound guy says we sound pretty good.
Yeah.
We were feeling pretty good.
Now hold on, I want to preface what you're about to say.
I was going to ask you. I want to hear your perspective of how it all went down. So.
Okay, so from my perspective, all right. You mentioned at the couple practices that we had, and like on the way up, and when we got there, you mentioned like, "Hey guys, take this seriously. Don't be on your best behavior. All right, don't fuck it up." You said it nicer than that, but essentially that's what you were just like, "Don't screw up." You need to be straight edge this weekend. And we're like, yes, absolutely. We got it. We're on top of it. And we were. We certainly were. Now, we get on stage, start playing the fourth set. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 songs in. I notice somebody running back towards the back of the place with a bucket. And then I see somebody else running back there with some fans and some paper towels. And I'm like, what's going on? Oh, you know what? This was actually during the third set. Because we saw that it was happening. And then we went back up and played our fourth.
I think it happened between the third and the fourth set. And then during the fourth set, they were running around with the stuff. And we were all just kind of like sweating bullets at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, from what I understand is a bunch of us were from what I remember, which they say memory is like the worst form of information or something like that, they always say.
Yeah.
But I feel like most of us were hanging out back. And then Anj came over and was like, hey, like, the bathroom's flooding or something like that. And, like, I was just like, what? Like, I'm not saying he presented that way. I can't remember exactly. But it was, in my mind, I was like, did this just happen? Or, like, did something happen? And so I think at the time it was just like, we need to get somebody over there to look at this.
Yeah.
And so I go in there, and yes, the bathroom's flooding. There's water pouring out of the wall.
There's like an inch of water on the floor.
And so we were just like, Jesus. and so luckily they had a guy there that could fix it, and he was able to get into the other apartment and turn the water off. But I basically went, and it turned out that in between sets, a lot of times instead of using the venue bathroom, the house is right there, so we just go to the house and use the bathroom. Yeah. So Ansh's girlfriend had gone back to the house to use the bathroom, and like the toilet was like running, and so she knew that like all you got to do is like lift the lid up and like hit the little thing in there and it resets it. So she did that, but then the top of the toilet fell off and it hit the pipe, like that big cast iron lid for the toilet. Yeah. Fell right onto the pipe and just broke it off the wall. Yeah. And it just started flooding the bathroom. And it was just just such an honest mistake. Like, like obviously there's no ill will in it. And, we went back and we played another show, and it wasn't horrible, but there was definitely that fear of like, that's it. Like, like even though it wasn't like anything malicious or anything, like we had nothing but reverence for the venue and the show. Yeah. Still, it was just like this one little accident that was like catastrophic. Yeah. And so he did it, and luckily the guy fixed it, and they set up some fans, and it ended up being okay, I think. Yeah. But it was still just like in our head, like, well, I mean, if this was it was a good time. Yeah. But there was definitely like that whole last set. We would just be up there, and at that point of the night, usually it's like pretty dead. There was some people hanging out, but we're basically playing this set, and we're looking. And then somebody walks by the stage with like a bucket and a bunch of rolls of paper towels, and we're just like, fuck. Yeah. And like a couple minutes later, somebody comes by with something else and goes out there, and we're just like. And it could have just been them cleaning up the venue. Like, it might not have even had anything to do with that thing. But in our minds, we were just like...
And you could tell during that set, too, we were all thinking about that. Dude, we weren't thinking about the set. We were just kind of like,
we keep looking over at Ansh, and Ansh, like, felt so bad because it was like... It wasn't even him, But it was still, like... It was just one of those things, like... everyone knew, like, the situation and how we were, except for Dave. Dave was the only one that wasn't there when it happened. And so, like, he was just like, why does everyone seem, like, so upset? Or whatever? Like, everyone just kind of had that look on their face the whole set. Yeah. And then afterwards, we told him, he was just like, what?
It's crazy, that feeling of, like, something's going on, you're the culprit, everyone knows you're the culprit, but at the same time, you're in plain view of everyone who's trying to fix it, and you're just kind of the fuck on stage, just like, I don't know, man.
Right. And,
good luck.
and Ansh is like the guy that his bands, he plays in a couple other bands, so he's got his band No More Heroes right now, I think is what they're called. but I think it's called Calling All Heroes. I don't know.
It's
I could
the
be
new one, right?
Yeah, his new version of. Now I'm drawing a blank on what his previous band was called, but yeah, his bands play there all the time throughout the year. So like he knows the owners pretty well, and I think that he was at the very least he was at least able to like approach them and be like, hey, just so you know, like this was, and I think he did like everything he could to make that happen because he loves playing at the Moose, and like you know I think that he did everything in his power to try to salvage that. It was one of those things where, like, I guess because there had been so many other incidents, it seemed like even though it was like an accident and nobody was like trying to mess anything up, it was still just kind of like we were all just kind of afraid that it was going to be like the straw that broke the camel's back, and they were just going to take it out on us,
Yeah.
But I felt like they were really nice about it, and like you said, we went back the second time and fucking killed it, and we had no issues, and I felt like that was a great show. So hoping we can go back there again this year.
I want to mention that second time we went back. I told you before we started the podcast, I played Creep last night and then a few weeks ago, and neither time it hit. But when we played Creep at Purple Moose that second time, that last chorus was just magical. Like, I didn't know the crowd was getting into it like that. And then it was just like, I don't know, it was crazy. Like, you hit that verse and then like no guitar, no, like it was supposed to be just be like you singing, and then like everyone just dropped out. We didn't even play music through it. You just kind of stepped back and the whole crowd just finished the entire song. It was really cool.
Like I said, I've had that happen a couple times, and I've had band members who were like Creep won't work. Creep is not going to work, and then you do a show like that and you play it, and because I've done it where people requested it and then we do it and then it goes over great, and then they're all like, what, it works? I'm like, yeah, like, if you got the right crowd. It's kind of one of those things, like, you kind of got to know how to read the room, and like I could tell when we were playing that the crowd was into it, and so when you get to that last chorus, it's like it's set up perfectly for a crowd sing along.
Yeah.
Because everything's kind of quiet. It's the chorus. Everyone knows the words to it. And yeah, that was definitely one of the coolest moments from that night. Yeah, we did those two shows. I'm trying to remember if there was a couple other standouts. We were doing What I've Done by Linkin Park. Mm-hmm. And the first time we did it, it was cool. It went over good. But the second time we did it, I don't know. We just had a crowd of people that were super into that song.
Yeah.
And that was like before.
That song's really fun.
That was like before they announced their comeback. I think that was like a month before that.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't know. It was just like perfect.
Did we cause Linkin Park to come back? Maybe.
We sent a ripple through time and space, which led to the...
They heard about our performance of one of their songs at the Purple Moose, and they were like, you know what? Okay.
There it is. I think people care. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we did that. We did the first run of Conch and Purple Moose, and then we went to Richmond, and we did a show with Heartbent and this band Wine and War Paint, who are from Richmond, and that was a cool night. It was definitely like one of those places where it's like we're a music venue, and it's like not really.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to. I'm not trying to trash them or anything, but it was basically like we were in the corner of this, brewery, and like the room was maybe like the size of this area we're doing this podcast in.
Yeah.
And so like when the drums were going, it was just so loud. It was like an echo chamber. Like, and because of the way like the wall was, it was just like funneling all the sound and making it way louder.
Yeah, the whole room was shaped like a megaphone.
Yeah, and so like it was just really difficult to get it to sound good in there.
Yeah. And it's like they cleared out the room that we were playing in for all the instruments and everything, but then they didn't clear out the area for like people standing around and like dancing and stuff. And, and like for Heartbent, they're being, I guess we can call them a hardcore band, right? Yeah, they're a hardcore band. So it was kind of like funny. They crushed it. They did a really good.
Yeah,
really did a good show.
And that was kind of like the idea of the show. It was like I knew that they had played down there, So I asked them if they wanted to do it, and they were on board, and we got a local band on it too.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of like the support. That's kind of how I viewed the show. You know, I'm not gonna, even though I put the show together, I'm not gonna like put myself in the position where it's like, well, I'm the main act or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Like for their set, there were a few people standing around and like still dancing, whatever, as close to the stage as possible. But everyone else was kind of reserved to, you know, being bumped into tables and and like trying to stand on chairs and stuff. And it was a cool spot, I'm sure. But like, I feel like it'd be really cool to maybe film a music video in there.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much like have a hardcore show or, you know.
it was cool in the sense of like it felt like a punk show. But I
Yeah.
guess, you know, we're not really a punk band, so we were a little out of place. But like for them, it was like great. Like we had just the right amount of people for it to be like, you know, to feel like there was a lot of people there for their set at least.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they played a great set. Those guys are awesome. They're such a high energy
Yeah.
band, and they've got great songs. So
Yeah.
the
And they have really good chemistry with each other, I think.
yes,
You know.
yeah, they feel like a real band, which is few and far between these days. A lot of times, it's, you know, it's like my band. It's kind of we're
Sometimes it's a little thrown together.
yeah, you know, we
Yeah.
just kind of make it happen.
Yeah.
All right, and then from there we went to North Carolina again, I think, and we played not in Raleigh, but like right near Raleigh, Durham,
Yeah.
at Dirty Bull Brewing Company, which was another like really cool spot that was like super dead.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of like this weird thing. Like I feel like a lot of the places around here don't have like as cool of a setup as some of these other places we played out of state.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know if it's, you know, for better or worse, but like they had like just this really cool big open outdoor area, and then they had a few rooms inside that were really like, it was really cool how it was all laid out. But
Yeah. They had Sahara on the TV.
yeah, we were sat there and watched like half of Sahara before we started our set.
Yeah.
Just Matthew McConaughey in the desert, just like, all right, like, you know. But yeah, we basically played our two sets to like three people hanging out outside. You know,
Yeah.
they were like way far away. It felt like
Hey, they liked it. They would cheer.
yeah.
You know.
And then we played a heated game of cornhole.
Yep. Yeah.
I can't remember who won that.
It was a tie.
It was something I don't know. Like there's, I just remember we were just like we were both like pretty hardcore into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we played that, and then we came home. But yeah, you know, we shared a car. That was the biggest run we did, I think, at that point. You know,
That was a nice.
4 days.
I remember getting onto the loading dock stage, because that's what it was. It's just the loading dock, and we set up there. And we sat down to play music, and I was just like, "This is it. This is the final stretch. We've made it in our four show run, sleeping in cars." And it doesn't sound like it's a whole lot, but it was very tiring, and that was just the last like.
And then we had to stop in Richmond on the way home because Heartbent forgot one of their
yeah.
merch boxes.
Yeah.
It wasn't like much of a detour, but it was still just like, it just worked out good because they were also driving somewhere to play another show, but they were like in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So it just worked out that we were coming back from North Carolina. It was just like, all right, we'll just stop and get it for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, the next one that I've got here that we did was the first Flinchies gig.
Oh yeah, love Flinchies.
Flinchies is such a cool spot.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely one of those gigs where we're kind of in the corner playing, and everyone's just kind of hanging out. You're kind of basically background music.
Yeah.
But it's still like we'll still meet like cool people every time. There's always like a few people that are like really into what we're doing.
Yeah. I feel like everyone that is at Flinchies anytime we've played, they may not have been like getting into it,
Yeah.
but they would still like give a nod, like, "Hey, you guys are doing good," you know.
yeah, like keep up the good work, guys.
Yeah.
Like, and pretty much, my whole thing with like the way I wanted to do the duo, the way we've been doing it is like, I wanted it to feel like I definitely wanted it to be more interesting than just me playing acoustic. And even if it's two people playing acoustic guitars, I feel like that just doesn't do enough. But like acoustic and piano, I feel like they complement each other really well,
Yeah.
and we've been able to do a lot of fun songs that I think a lot of people wouldn't think would work in that configuration.
Yeah.
Like we do When the Levee
Sober.
Breaks.
Okay.
Which one were you gonna say?
Sober.
Sober. Yes,
By
we did
Tool.
Sober a couple times. We got to bust that out again.
We do. It sounds so good on the
Sober.
organ. Like,
When the Levee Breaks was another one. I don't think people really expect that one.
yeah.
And then every now and then we'll pull out one on the fly that's unexpected.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's always been one of those spots where like every time there's usually a couple people that are like, yeah, man, you guys are awesome, like, and they seem to like us up there. So,
Yeah.
I got some stuff for later in the year this year. I don't know what was going on, but I missed like the first half of the year, but I got stuff later in the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice little drive up 83.
Yeah.
That last one we did, didn't we get stuck in traffic?
That
Or was that
that wasn't
Love
for
Drafts?
Flinchies. That was for Love Drafts.
Love
yeah.
that. That was early this year.
Yeah. Where it was like an hour and a half maybe drive turned into 2.5 hours, I think. Just because we sat in, there was a truck just got completely flipped over. And I guess it had just happened by the time we got there, because like nobody was on scene yet. We had to keep on pulling over for the ambulances and all that. Yeah, scary looking scene, but
Yeah. So next one I have here we did was the one at Coakley's up in Havre de Grace. It was me, you, Mike, and Chris, and that was a lot of fun. We had like a bridal party come through at one point, and that kind of brought the atmosphere up a good bit.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember if there was anything in particular that night that happened, other than yes. It was some kind of comment Chris made about the mayor of Havre de Grace or mayor of Perryville.
Yeah.
That like we were all just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He was just like, it was just something about like, at least I'm not the mayor of Perryville. Like just something. It was just like so rude, but like
Yeah.
he said it with like such like
Yeah.
finesse that I think everyone just kind of laughed about it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like Jesus, Chris. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah,
La-di-da, the mayor of Perryville.
yeah, it's just like man. But yeah, like that was a fun night.
Yeah.
And then we played at Susky River the next day, which is up also like in the Perryville area, which that was a cool spot. Again, like
Yeah.
big farm, open space, but sadly it was like supposedly going to rain, so like no one really came out.
Yeah.
But the view was like awesome.
View was
Just
gorgeous.
overlooking that river. I can't remember what that river's called there.
Is that the Susquehanna?
maybe the one that like that like you cross when you're going up 95.
Yeah, this is Susquehanna.
Yeah. So just
I know my map.
super cool view, and and then they have like animals everywhere. I was just like, look, there's a goat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goats and chickens and stuff. So
It's a farm and a brewery. Yeah.
cool. Now after that, you weren't on this run, but after that was when I did
You did the long haul.
Tennessee, Louisiana, and Alabama.
Dang near made it to Texas. Got very close.
Yeah. I after I played in Memphis. Well, first I left and I drove pretty much all day Wednesday to try and like get as far down there as I could. But then I kind of decided, I was like, well, if I just keep going, I could get to Nashville tonight and I could check out Nashville,
Yeah.
which was like crazy. Like that was like the first time I'd ever been to Nashville, and I went to Broadway and saw the all like the music venues and stuff. Like I went down and got out and walked down the street and back. and just seeing all these places with live music and people just having a good time. It was really cool. It was very exciting and affirming, and definitely like kind of made me like be like, I don't know if I want to move to Nashville and become a Nashville musician, but I'd love to go there and play sometime. But but yeah, I did that, and then I went to Memphis, and that was where I played my first show, which was like, have I told you about this trip at all yet?
A little bit.
Basically, I played in Memphis, and it's on Beale Street, which is basically kind of like their Fells Point. You know, it's just kind of like this one area where you can kind of walk up and down the street, and it's not too dissimilar to Nashville. There's like music in each place.
Yeah.
And this was a Thursday night, so it's not like it was like a big night. And so I literally played to like like nobody but the bartender the whole night. I would get a lot of people walking by who would like stop at the door and like, oh, hey, he's playing Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
And then they just keep walking like it's like and then until the very end of the night. At the very end of the night, these girls came in, and I was playing "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins, and they were just like so into it, and they hung out with me for like the last 10 minutes that I was playing before they like closed up the bar.
Yeah.
And kicked them out. And it was just like, all right, like, you know, I guess that was fun, you know, but
That's the win for the night.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. And also that day before I played, I went to Graceland, and like did the tour of like the Elvis estate and went through all the museums and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, and then from there, Memphis is like right on the edge of Tennessee, so I went right over and into Arkansas, and took that like down into Louisiana, which I just gotta say, like, I wish you had been there, because there's just like so many towns in Arkansas that are like what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like they have one that's like called Arkadelphia.
What?
And I was just like, what? I was like, and then there was like a city called Texarkana,
Texarkana? Yeah.
which I guess is like, it's like near Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. It's like and Louisiana, where they like all meet or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was just like, what? Who was naming these places? Like, like it was like so mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
It's like you got Little Rock, and then there's just all these like weird cities around it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then I went there. I went to Shreveport, played there, and then from there. I drove through the night to and stopped outside of New Orleans, because I wanted to check out New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And so that morning I got up. I was at like a truck stop. It was like an hour away or something. And I drove into New Orleans, which was, to me, was like the craziest part of the drive, was driving through that, I don't know if it's like the bayou or the marshlands or something, but you're basically like on this elevated highway above like all these marshes and swamps and stuff. And like, to me, that was like the most out of the world experience of a drive. Like, that felt like to me, it felt like if it was like Star Wars and I went to like a different planet. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And so that was just like the most, like.
Did you see any alligators down there?
No. I didn't really stop anywhere where you would see them. Like, when I was driving, I was trying to, get some video and stuff, but mostly,
My brother keeps asking this question to people, and I'm going to bring it up to you now, because he's gotten some ridiculous answers. All right. So Spider-Man, the first one, the original Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
When he goes to fight Bonesaw, all right, the cage match.
Yes.
All right. That same scenario. You're just you, all right, and in the cage is an American full-sized alligator. How many times out of 10 you don't learn from your experiences? They're all happening simultaneously in different universes. All right? How many times out of 10 are you winning?
I don't know if I've ever seen a full-size alligator in real life, but
They average, I think, about 500 pounds. I think they're like 10 feet, give or take. Yeah.
I don't know. I think my first, my first inclination would be like to try and get on top of it because I don't know if it can like get its head around.
Yeah.
But I don't know how like nimble they are. Like like you said, if they're 500 pounds, they could probably throw me off pretty easily. But yeah, my initial thought would be to get on top of it and like try to like grab its mouth
Yeah.
so it can't like bite me. But I probably could have stand to pay a little more attention when I was watching Steve Irwin as a kid.
Yeah.
But do you have any more like information on that?
Like on the alligators themselves?
Yeah, like
I don't really know much about the
I
alligators.
feel like whoever was asking that question probably was like, well, this is what you would do in that scenario. Like,
No, I think he's just like, he wants to know because I think it came up in conversation with some of my other family members. And two of my cousins and my uncle, they both say 10 out of 10 times they're winning. And I was like, no fucking way.
I mean,
No
to
way.
me, it's like I just had a conversation with John about this where we were talking. I was talking about we were talking about like singing and stuff, and like you always feel like you sing it better like in the car, and then when you get into the studio or something, it, like all of a sudden, and I think a lot of that has to do with your perception of what you're hearing in yourself versus like when you're in front of a hot mic that's like picking up every little nuance of your voice. But I was saying how like it's something like I imagine is similar with like stand-up comedy where you like how you imagine it in your head is never going to be how it comes out. Like you can imagine saying something in your head a million times, and then when you go to say it, it's like the way like being able to say it the way you want it is like a thing that like you got to practice.
Yeah.
Or sometimes the situation is different. But like just imagine like thinking of like a funny joke, and then you go to say it, and then you're like, oh man, I didn't say it right, or I didn't. And that's like kind of like why comics have to like work on that. Work on that, like get out and do it in front of people and figure out like how to say it and the right timing and everything. But I imagine it's not too dissimilar from fighting the alligator. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to jump on top of it. And then you go to jump on top of it, it jumps up and bites you. Like, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
there's like a lot of ways that it could go.
Yeah.
Sadly, my first thought is I think of that movie like Placid, but that was like a mutant giant alligator that could just crush your whole body.
Yeah.
But it's like in my head, I'm like, all right, well, even if it's full-size alligator, it's not like you can swallow me in one bite, but, it could probably take my arm off or something. It's like, for some people, it's like, that's all it takes. It takes your arm off. You look at your stub and you're bleeding out, you go into shock, that's it. Like, but I think a lot of people, a lot of people probably think like,
I could take an alligator.
it's a water animal on land. It's like, yeah, but it's kind of like a land and water animal. Like it hunts on both.
It's amphibious and it's survived, completely unchanged for millions of years.
Yeah. Like I could see how like people being like, all right, well, like if it was like a lion, like a full-size lion or a tiger or something, it's like that's a land animal. You can't really outrun it.
I feel like I'd fare better versus a lion than an alligator.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because all right, I forgot to say.
You got that beautiful hair, man. It'd be like, this guy's one of us.
No, I mean it's. I forgot to mention. In the scenario, it's not like wrestle it, pin it down. It's to the death.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like bare hands. There's no way I could kill an alligator.
Yeah.
You can't choke it out. You can't like pummel it to death. Like it's too tough. Even if it doesn't kill you first.
I mean, my first inclination, if like it was a life or death scenario, would be to try to like gouge its eyes out or something like that.
Yeah, that's what everyone
is
said.
Really, real cruel way to go about it. But it's like if I was in that scenario, if I couldn't just run away and it was like you have to kill this thing, that would be the first thing I would do is go for the eyes.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, all right, well, like it's not. It might not. Might not mean that it's down for the count, but it'll at least be impaired enough that I can at least try a couple other methods.
Yeah.
But
climb up the cage and reassess.
Yeah, like, it's not like I could put it in a rear naked choke and choke it out. Like it's,
Yeah. Can't really snap its neck because the entire thing is neck.
yeah, it's just all, alligators are just all neck.
Yeah. One long neck is what it is. And I feel like, I don't know, a lion, they are definitely going to be quicker. You can't climb the cage. They'll be able to climb the cage too. There's like, it'll definitely fuck you up more quickly than an alligator. But I think I would fare better at being able to kill it as well. Yeah. I had to justify me saying I
Animal
might be
cruelty.
able to beat a lion.
Again, this is a hypothetical, and we're not advocating any animal cruelty.
No.
If I'd much rather smoke a joint with the alligator
Of course.
than kill it. But
Yes. Crocodile rock, baby.
in this Marvel Secret Wars Battle World scenario, we must fight it to the death.
Yes.
All right, so next up we got the EP release show that we did at Zen West in the Clandestino Speakeasy, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's such a cool little room. Did you end up playing there recently?
I did.
How was that for you?
It was all right. Yeah. I think the set went fine. I didn't realize that there was only going to be one monitor there, and it was behind me, so I couldn't really hear myself.
Yeah. Most of that stuff I brought in with me.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't put
yeah.
that together. They were like, "We have full sound," and I was like, "Sounds good." All right. And I get there, and it was full sound, just behind me. So it was kind of hard to hear, but
Yeah, I had received feedback afterwards that we were very loud that night.
that is the same feedback that I got. So I'm wondering if that's just something they say.
I think it's like a drum thing. I think they just don't want drums in there, even though
Yeah.
they built a little riser for it. Well, I think the little riser was meant for like the full performer is supposed to go on the riser.
Yeah.
But I think that there was like an element of like, someone was like, oh yeah, this will be like a cool little rock show space. And then everyone else is like, no, it's way too loud in here.
Yeah.
Because I had a couple of my family members who in fairness, they sat there the whole time. They sat through the whole show. And, but then afterwards, a couple of them came up and were like, it was so loud. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm sorry. Wow.
Yeah.
At least,
Well,
I feel like we played really well that night.
Yeah, I think we did play well. And when I went back and did it with my stuff, Nick wasn't around to give notes or anything like that. But I went up to the bartender, and I was like, "Was that good?" And he pretty much was just like, "I mean, nobody left, and I got tips, so successful night." And I was like, "Cool, thanks. That's all I needed."
Yeah, we did another show at Zen West earlier in the year. We did that, in the main room out there.
Yeah.
But Zen West is such a cool space for music, and the way that it's kind of separated. Like they've got like the dining area, and then they got the speakeasy, and then they've got like the venue space. So it's kind of really set up like for if someone just wants to go there and have dinner, they can do that. They don't have to like listen to a loud band. If you're just coming out to see a show, then you've got food as an option, and then they got the speakeasy in the back, which kind of got like its own vibe. So definitely a really cool, place to play. So
Yeah.
and appreciate all they do for the local scene.
Yeah.
All right, the last show we did of 2024 was called Classic Brewing, which featured Brothers Clair, which was cool. Got to see them for the first time in a hot minute. Mm-hmm. You guys played a great set. We had Brett's band, Brett Bueller, he's been on this podcast. He put the show together. His band, the Hollow Truths, played, and then we did a set. And yeah, that was a cool night. Cult Classic, really cool place.
Yeah. I still have the check from it because I haven't. So
You haven't cashed it yet.
well, I can't cash it because they made it out to Chris,
Oh,
and Chris left before the end of the night. So they just gave the check to me, and Chris lives in Alexandria. So I just have a check with his name on it that I can't really do anything with.
so you just gotta get it back to him at some point.
Yeah.
You could probably mail it to him, but I'm definitely guilty of needing to mail stuff to people and not getting around to it. So,
Yeah.
but but yeah. So, uh, so yeah, that was 2024. We went a lot of places,
Woo! 2024.
and 2025
One for
is
the
still we're still still working out a lot of details for that. Hoping to get some more stuff on the books. I'm still like reaching out to new places and trying to build those relationships and
Yeah.
all that. But what about you? You got anything cool planned?
I'm hoping to release new music. I'm mulling whether or not I should do like the short story thing with it again. Because I wouldn't mind doing that. I like writing stories. I just need to find the time to do it.
Nice.
Yeah. That's about it for my plans, and I've been trying to book more shows on my end with the Man in the Flames stuff, and just doing like cover shows. But like it's a hard thing to start doing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a while to kind of get that ball rolling, and like it took a lot of time, a lot of rounds of sending emails and luckily, I think the one thing that worked in my favor is I've just been like always been like making content out of everything I could, like doing the live recording at Wrecker and having all that video and stuff, like just having that stuff to put up so people can see, oh, this is what they look like live, this is what they sound like, even if, even though that's pretty much a produced live thing, like, we put a lot of time and effort into making sure that sounded good.
Yeah.
But definitely like trying to use every opportunity. Every show is an opportunity to like create some kind of content around it. So
Yeah.
that's why I try to do with all those little videos I make at all the shows is like, see, we're out here doing it. Like we're not just
Yeah.
we didn't just go and do it and like didn't acknowledge it. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm happy to hear you're going to be working on some new music. Like it's definitely been a minute since you put some stuff out, and
Yeah.
you've got your little studio set up. So
Yeah. Yeah. I just gotta do it. I just gotta put it out. I have most of the songs done for this EP that I'm coming out with. I'll tease the name. Why not? Because I've played all the songs from it at most of the concerts in the past year. It's called "This Fool Is Gold." Is going to be the EP.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good name.
Yeah. I like it. And like I don't know. So the way I pictured the Man in the Flames, it's less of like that's the artist, like that's the band. It's like that's the novel, that's the story, This is the next story. This Fool is Gold. So it was Man in the Flames, now it's This Fool is Gold. It's like when you read a book. It's not like The Man in the Flames 2.
Right.
It's the next.
That's really interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Cool. So one of the things I've been doing is I've got like some fun little brain teaser questions I like to throw at people.
Sure.
Just to kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
So, here's an easy one. What's an album you can listen to on a repeat?
I got a few that I can listen to on repeat.
Lay them out for me.
So I got The Now Now by the Gorillaz. By Gorillaz was really good. Daft Punk's Alive 2007. My girlfriend has turned me on to Daft Punk since we met, and like
I'll have to get some of that in the set.
Alive 2007 is just phenomenal. It's like it's their live album pretty much, one of their live albums, and it's just so fucking good. I would die to see Daft Punk live.
Nice.
Their shows sound so fun. And then I gotta put "Thank You, Happy Birthday" by Cage the Elephant on there because that's one of my favorite albums of all time.
Nice.
Yeah. That came out in that pinnacle moment of everyone's life. They say, like, around sophomore year of high school, like 15-ish years old, is when you're, like, you get the biggest impressions on you from art and music and things like that. And that's right when that album came out for me. And it sure did leave a big impression. So, yeah,
Nice.
I think those are the three right there.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, next one. If you could be a contestant on any game show, which one would it be?
Ooh. Oh. I would love to be on American Ninja Warrior. I need to prep for it, but I would love to be on American
Gotta be
Ninja.
in some insane shape to do that.
I was in some insane shape.
I mean, I know
previously.
you gurk it out at the gym, man. You be
I not so much recently. I need to get back in there. But
same.
it was really great when me and Monica were in the apartment in downtown, and there was a gym on the top floor that nobody was using. So I'd go in there almost every day, and I would do like on a soft day, I would do like 100 pull-ups, and I was feeling real good, and I could definitely have done American Ninja Warrior then.
Nice.
Now, definitely not. I hope to do 20 pull-ups.
Nice. All right. If you could go back in time and then attend any concert in history, which one would you go to?
Again, Alive 2007 was really good. There's that documentary out right now from the Talking Heads. I want to watch that documentary because that looks like it was a fun show. But really, I would love to see probably Green Day, but when they weren't big yet.
Okay.
Like they were just playing the like really divey punk venues.
Nice.
Like I feel like that would be really fun.
They were they out of Jersey or
California.
California? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. There's definitely like some artists I would have loved to have seen, like Pink Floyd when they were doing some of those tours with like all the cool visuals and stuff. But
Yeah.
But then I think about like, what about like Live Aid must have been so cool to be at.
Yeah.
Just
some historic
all
shit.
these different bands and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Or Dire Straits. I would love to see Dire Straits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. If you could form a super group with any three musicians, who would it be?
Like amongst the ones that we know, or
Just
like
anyone.
Oh. Shit, that's hard. I would
just
say
assume like a drummer, bass player, guitar player, and
Yeah, hold on.
research.
Do.
Do you know who it is? You just don't know their name.
I want to make sure I pronounce it right. Back to Dire Straits. Mark Knopfler.
Is he like the
He's
main
the guitar
singer?
player.
Is he like the
He's
main
the singer and guitarist.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
So Mark Knopfler. The drummer, I would do. Shit, I was watching
I would get a
Drumeo.
computer. No.
I was watching Drumeo and they had this guy on it who was really good. But I can't remember his.
If I had to pick, I'd probably want I guess I should have prefaced this by saying if it mattered if they were alive or dead, but I would probably say I want like the bass player, the guy that plays with The Who. Right now it's Pino Palladino, who's like the main. He plays with a lot of people. He's an insane bass player.
Yeah.
And then I think Josh Freese is just a good all around drummer. He's played with so many bands over the years and has such a cool style.
Yeah.
And then for guitar, I don't know. That's one that I haven't thought about as much. Because there's a lot of great guitar players out there.
Yeah.
But it's like finding one that would be like the right style for what I want to do. You know who I really like? I like Kyle Cook from Matchbox 20. I always felt like he wrote like really great guitar parts, at least like in the earlier part of their career. Like now I feel like they're less guitar heavy and more like everything is just kind of more like pop songs. But I've always thought that he was a great guitar player.
Nice.
All right. If your life had a soundtrack, what 3 songs would be on it?
I've been thinking about this one recently, actually. Oh. Gotta go back to the phone.
There's not like a song that just comes to mind right at hand, and you're like, oh, well.
No, because I've had so many different stages of my life. Hold on. There's definitely going to be an AC/DC song in there.
Nice.
Probably Back in Black is on there.
Back
Or
in
no.
Black.
Shoot to Thrill.
Okay.
Shoot to Thrill.
Shoot to Thrill's a good one.
That's the one from AC/DC that would be on there. Indie Kids by Cage the Elephant.
Okay.
It's just like a really weird song. That would definitely be on there. And then, there's this techno song that my brothers found. Let me find the name. Give me a second.
Techno song.
Yeah. We have an ongoing playlist that we all just dump music into called Mix Mash of Music We Like. And it's really just kind of, it is what it is. It's a mixed mash. There's some like Rolling Stones, there's some Smash Mouth, and then there's like some like throat singing, there's some techno. Oh, this is gonna kill me.
Chemical Brothers.
Chemical Brothers, The Salmon Dance.
Yes.
Yes, that's a good one.
Did I turn you on to that song, or do you just know that one?
It's just I found it somehow. Yeah.
Dude, I love that song so much.
Yeah.
I used to walk into work and be like, you know Charlie that works with me. I'd just be like, Charlie, you're living your life wrong, and he'd be like, what do you mean? And I'd be like, this is how you live your life. And then I just put on the Salmon Dance.
Yeah.
It's just like such a bizarre, fun song. Like I would love to figure out like a way to do that live.
Yeah. Sorry, it's not techno. I don't know why I thought it was techno. It's Typhoon Turnpike. Yeah.
Is that the song or the band?
That's the song.
Who's the band?
TWRP and Trey Magnifique.
Okay.
Magnifique.
Magnifique.
Yes. Typhoon
Cool.
Turnpike. Yeah.
All right. Last one. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Nice. How do you take it?
Black.
Nice.
If I really want some stuff, I'll take it black, but then put like a shot of espresso in there. And then if I'm feeling fancy, then I'll get a latte. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I think we've got a good year ahead of us. I know I still need to get you like some dates for stuff. Sadly, like I said, because work killed me at the end of last year, I felt like the earlier part of this year suffered in terms of booking. But I do still have stuff lined up throughout the year, so I'll be hitting you up about some of that. And then I'm trying to get you on some of my songs this year. So
Let's do it.
we're gonna try to make some magic happen.
Yeah.
Taylor, you're the man.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
see you soon.
Right back at you. Yes.
Check out the link at the end of the video to hear more music from Taylor's group, The Man in the Flames.